I don't buy into the pay to play sort of thing with
Mm,
lists.
yeah.
I truly believe in relationships, people who are going to follow your rules. If you've worked here or not, did we have a good or bad experience? What do clients want?
Yeah. Welcome to The Right Fit. Today, we're doing a very special episode. We're actually on site, on location, not virtual today, at the one and only One North Broad in the heart of Philadelphia. And we're joined by the amazing Jhona here, who is the director of marketing and sales events at the beautiful One North Broad. And we also happen to be in one of the great spaces that they have here, one of the great many spaces in the Egyptian room. Jhona, thank you so much for squeezing us in and making some time for us today and taking the leap of faith of even letting us in this beautiful home with all our gear. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you making some time. So I like to dive right into things. And my curiosity is always, how did you get into the events industry?
By accident.
Oh,
I I think I have always been an event person from the youngest age possible. In high school, my friends and I have 10 best friends, we would plan the most elaborate first party of the summer. And we were renting out parks and getting permits and having caterers and managing donations and things from food banks. And the guest list was 200 people.
wait, how old were you?
I was literally in high school.
Wow.
So my
Okay.
first job was with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
And there they let me do almost anything that I wanted. Officially, I was the service person. So after all the sales were made, because they were selling the stadium at that point, suites and club seats.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
all of
Okay.
the, premium seats.
Got it.
Um, and whatever they sold them and whatever additional things, it was my job to make sure they actually came to fruition. So
Okay.
it was
So you
a
take it on from
great
here.
job. Yeah.
Oh,
And I
wow.
just got that, I never stopped after that for,
How long were you there?
I was with the team for 8 or 9 seasons.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was a long time.
Sure, you
Well
learned a
done.
lot.
I learned everything you need to know from like it all. And then you just build on that,
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So from being there and I mean going to try to be an elevator person to being part of so many different types of things with the organization, what brought you to One North Broad?
I have to give all of that credit to my predecessor, Sue Kuning, who was the director of sales here before myself. We were colleagues, obviously, in the industry, working at other places. We knew each other, but we kind of got a better connection during COVID. She was involved with this group called Premier Venues Philadelphia,
Okay.
and it's basically a collection of the people and the catering folks of all of the what we would call premier venues here. So it had a lot of museums in the art history district, Old City, and then like your Ritz Carlton, your Four Seasons, that those folks. So we got closer during that time. Everything was virtual, so we met a lot. And then over the years, I was working at Center City District, which is the business improvement district for downtown Philadelphia. My venues at that time were all outdoor, they were parks,
Oh.
and it's literally across the street. So where City Hall is, it's the west side where the big fountains are,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
familiar. And we would kind of try to make, you know, events happen together. So if someone was coming here for a wedding and they wanted an outdoor space, they could literally walk across the street to City Hall and I would set up their wedding outside. Now, did we ever find our couple? No. But that's kind of how it went. And when Sue had been offered another dream position for herself and she was getting ready to leave, she said, Jhona, I really need you to consider this. You know all too well how to work in a unique venue. You know how to accommodate for, so many different situations. I think you would be a great fit for this. And I thought she was joking.
Yeah.
I thought she was joking.
Like you messing with me?
Yeah, because she had been with the company since its inception. We've only been doing what we would call public events since 2016, and she
Oh.
for lack of a better term, is like the founder,
Right,
of
right.
One North Broad. So she built it up. I never thought in a million years that she would be saying, I'm going to be getting a new job and I want you to be
To
the
take over.
person who takes over for
Wow.
me. So it's a great, great honor once I got past the shock of it all.
Right. You know, something that's interesting when you're sharing your journey and your story is that, like you said, you thought it was a joke at first, but at the same time, did you feel like any hesitation? Or I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, what made you take that leap of faith? Because you're still jumping into, yes, familiar, but still very unfamiliar at the same
Yeah.
time.
I think it was just her sheer confidence in me. I was like, if this person that I respect so much asked me personally to throw my hat in the ring and, you know, thought that I can do it, then she would know better than I know.
True.
So it didn't feel like a leap. It felt like, the right door opening at the right time. And I really had no hesitation about it at all,
Right.
interestingly enough, because
Yeah.
as you're saying it, it does sound like, what?
Yeah. 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 Like still an undertaking at the end of
Yeah,
the day, and some shoes to fill, although
absolutely.
and still a little the unknown, as I always call it.
Absolutely. Before that, the only time I had been to this building was for like if they had an open house or such. So I'd been inside before. I knew it was beautiful, but the building is 152 years old. It has its quirks.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Wow. So, do you think that that experience, or just let's say, just being here, what has it like? Has there been a lesson that you've learned, or something that it's taught you? You know, maybe about yourself.
I think yes. So this would be, I think, the first place that I've worked that has been, I'm going to call it male dominated, but that's
Okay.
not exactly what I mean. It's not dominated, but this is a building that's meant for Masons to meet in.
Mm,
So, for the most part, the main purpose of the building is for lodge meetings. So, it's not as common as you can have an event whenever you want to because the mission of the charity is for to, preserve Masonic history and such. We are a library and a museum for all intents and purposes, but it's a cool space, so we can have events in there. And the challenge is being able to work together to do that. And usually in my positions, the full team is, for the most part, women. Salespeople are women. The only people that wouldn't be usually are the facilities
got it.
persons in all the other jobs that I've worked in. So that was a little bit of a change for me. But it wasn't hard, you know.
Mhm.
If we're in events, we're people, people. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean, you
like
have to be a little bit, right?
I'm talking to everybody anyway.
Yeah.
What I would call I'm serious. So like I'm gonna crack a joke. I'm gonna laugh. I am loud. So it's like I'm I don't know. I think I'm so easygoing that
Yeah.
it doesn't really hit me that it's this new thing. I don't know.
Got it. So it sounds like it's a fairly smooth transition, and you were able to make it a new home, so to speak. Because if you were like when we were talking about the first organization, 8 to 9 seats, like it starts to become home a little bit. Like you start to get a
Absolutely.
little comfortable. Everybody knows you, and then
Yes.
once again, you're in a new setting. It's still once again, no, yes, somebody believes in you, but it's still a new surrounding, new people.
Yes.
You got to get different comfort levels and stuff like that. But it's great that you were able to make those transitions and also at the same time, I'm sure grow personally, because I think that's also part of the process that we're in. It's like, how are you, from from the high schooler throwing these 200-person events? I'm sure you've changed a little bit, right?
I hope so.
Uh,
But yes, I think so. I mean, in between, starting out as an intern and then, having someone directly tell you what to do, but then also allowing you a fair amount of discretion to kind of feel it out for yourself was
mm,
great. And then watching personal growth into next positions where you're then doing the same thing for someone else and managing staff and now managing budgets and, that type of stuff. So there is a fair amount of change. I mean, we went to school and everything. They taught us some things.
Okay.
But I think in this industry, it's the hands-on experience that's really going to carry you through because you can study as much as you want. We can plan for everything under the sun. And then we get to the time and place of the event and something you've never even thought of is going to happen.
Man, I mean, I feel like that was my entire weekend this past weekend.
And I believe you.
Yeah, it was, just things that I was like, wow. I think the number one line is just when I thought I've seen it all, and then something else. And then to a certain extent, I think it's also a positive because then we are able to navigate it way differently because we're not so phased and we're just like, well, we got to figure it out anyway. We're going to make this work. We got to get to the finish line.
That's it. I think the best quality about being in this industry and industry professionals is the ability to solve problems.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we approach them differently. Like, you can't freak out. It's like, okay, it's happening. How can we make it stop happening?
Yeah.
Or at least make it happen less?
Right. And also, I think the big one is, how do we do this thing for the client not to even find out it's happening if possible?
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
So that's the big one. And I think that's why it's so important to be open to a collaborative model, because when it's kind of that every man for themselves, it does become way more difficult to sometimes, let's call it, put out these fires or get these results for the clients that they're looking for, even if they never even find out about it.
Yes.
I think that's the big goal too. And I'm sure you see a lot, obviously, in your position. But I think also for a lot of industry professionals, what we don't experience as much as somebody maybe in your position is typically you are the first piece of the process. Typically, they're looking for an event space first to find a date, and then everything else comes after that.
Yes.
Is there something that, I don't know, you do or you think that you might do differently because you're like their first taste of this wedding planning experience? I don't know if you, like I said, I'm a DJ by trade. So I'm maybe sometimes third, fourth, like usually they'll have the venue. A lot of times they'll have a photographer and then maybe it's me. Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm even after that. So, but I'm not usually first.
Right.
Once in a blue, but very rare.
I think I couldn't tell you what makes, obviously the space is beautiful. So you fall in love with the space. And if you come here, you're definitely looking for something that's unique, historical, super Philadelphia, although you can't tell by this room.
The Egyptian room doesn't give off the Philly vibes, but
But if we've done all of that, I don't need to sell the space.
Gotcha.
I think that they really are attracted to the personality and the level of comfort that they probably feel from me because I think I'm so relatable. Like I use the word unserious a lot because I think to myself all the time, who do they think I am? Like, I am just I'm still that 16-year-old throwing parties with my best friends for 200 people.
That's amazing.
That's how I view myself.
Yeah.
But I think people view me differently. But once they get to know me, and that personality is always peeking out. I mean, why do I have on so many colors? Why are all of my nails different colors? My glasses, my lipstick. I am not a reserved person.
That's good. I think it's important that you do that because at the end of the day, your personality, your traits, your characteristics are also going to be a part of this experience that these clients or couples are going to have, because if they're dealing with you, even if it's an email or whatever it is, they're still going to be dealing with this person. And so I feel like that matters a lot.
Yeah. And then I think once they have venue, it's all about then relationships that we've built, to your point of being a collaborative person. We try to be a one-stop shop. That's not to say I'm not a planner. I'm not trying to plan the wedding. But what I will do as the venue, thinking and knowing for the most part we are the first stop. Planning a wedding can be overwhelming, especially for a lot of our couples a lot of people, despite the statistics, they're only getting married once. So you've never done it before. You need some help.
Yes.
I like to tell people, if they ask, who are my favorite people to work with? Who knows the building? Who's going to keep your timeline? Who's going to give you the vibe at the party that you want? If I know people, I'm going to let other people know.
Right.
I'm going to share the information both ways too, not
Mm,
just leave it on the couple to reach out,
okay.
which I don't know if it's helpful or not.
It could be actually. I don't hear that. I don't hear too much of that, but it could be because sometimes couples are so overwhelmed, they don't even know where to start. So sometimes you reaching out to them first and maybe giving them some base information or whatever, or starting the conversation. Sometimes they need that little kickstart because they're just like, oh, it's too much overload.
Right. And on my, say we have a preferred vendor list. There are things on there that I know people don't always think about as something that they can have. And the number one thing I think about for that is like a nanny service.
Mm,
While we don't see a lot of our couples having children at the wedding, when they do, it's a significant amount. So, do you want, the mom and the dad to have a nice time, to feel like they're going out for the night, or do
that's a big
you
one.
want them to have to tend to the child? I don't know,
Yeah.
but they don't have to if they don't want to here.
Right.
Here's a great service for you. I have another room. We can put toys and they come with, cribs, pack and place, anything you think of.
Wow. Pack and place. They thought of it.
I mean, kids go to bed early, but weddings don't end early.
Right. Right. And it's a long day
Yeah,
naturally too, for a kid to be, might get a little cranky by the end.
exactly.
For sure. I love that you're mindful of saying, hey, I'm not necessarily a full on wedding planner, but I'm also going to help guide you in the right direction, point you in the right direction, because that is going to alleviate some stress for these people who do have jobs and other responsibilities
Right.
going on. And planning a wedding is not the only thing that they have to do.
Yep.
And it makes me think of, when you mentioned like this, I guess, vendors that you work with or vendor list, what is something a vendor can do to make your job easier?
I think for us, especially folks who haven't been to the building before, just literally read the information. It's very hard. It's very easy, but
Yeah.
we're so big. This building is big,
Right.
but like our receiving door is tiny.
Yeah.
It's literally an alley.
Hmm.
One car, two cars maybe at a time, which is
Right.
why we stagger all of our, load in and load out. Being very cognizant that the catering truck, sometimes there's two of them, they're not moving. So if you're in before them, you're not getting out until the end of the night. And then party rental is going to come behind there. And that truck is bigger than all of us. So just read the directions. Also, I think if we know who the vendors are earlier from our couples and they pass along that contact information, it's very helpful when we get to talk to vendors directly as
Mm,
opposed to having the couple do it. So I try to spend that as me helping them. I'll talk to them directly. I can get all the COIs. I can tell them about load-in. I'll make sure it fits into your timeline. Don't even worry about it. That's one thing off your plate.
that's a big one. Read. I read all the directions before getting here, although there was some curveballs,
Yeah,
but we made it.
you made it,
Made it.
but you saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
And then we
Oh
have
yeah.
facade work going on back there.
I was sweating a little bit back there, and it's not even an event I have today, so I can't imagine if I was in event mode. But yes, I think reading is big, which kind of leads to the communication thing that we're kind of getting at here. What is something that you feel like is like a like some of the don'ts, whether it's one or it's a couple? Like, what are some vendor don'ts?
I think as we're talking about weddings specifically, don't do what the couple has not asked you to do. I find a lot of times that what causes a little bit of friction is something that they haven't discussed with them that's happening, and you're like, wait, run through your timeline, even though you know it frontwards and backwards.
Right, right, right.
Like, what is happening here? And then you try to get their attention, the vendor, and say, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah,
And stopping it before it gets too far. So that I think has been my most common one. Like, wait, where did you get this idea and did you run it by anybody? Let's stop.
right.
And I think I mean, it's mine are very simple just because I think of the venues that I've worked in. They have very specific work rules, just follow them. If we say don't plug into anything yourself, please don't plug into anything yourself. This
Mm.
building is 152 years old. If you think we're just plugging into something, you're blowing the whole circuit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this building is so big, you won't find a lot of light switches. We're going to the power box to turn it on.
Wow. Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it's really simple, I think. Fortunately, I haven't had that many bad experiences with vendors.
It's great.
So, I'm lucky. I don't know.
Mm.
Now that I've said it, it's like gonna be the worst thing ever.
You know, I've worked at some venues that sometimes they don't allow, or they give a harder time to even allow people that are not necessarily on a list because of maybe bad experiences. But the fact that you've had great experiences, and that's good, because it doesn't mean that just because somebody's not on your list, they're not going to be a great vendor.
No.
That's not necessarily always the case. But at the same time, I think it is from a vendor standpoint good to understand the lay of the land,
Yeah.
because every venue operates differently, from the intricacies of you saying even to pulling up to the circuitry to, I'm sure there's so many more that we can talk about for a whole other podcast
Yeah.
episode. But at the same time, you can't treat it as an apples to apples situation when you
Right.
say, oh, well, I do events, I do weddings, so I know what I'm doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you might know, you have an idea, but you still have to check in and figure out, like, okay, what is the best case scenario? And what I tell people sometimes too, some people have gotten mad at me about this, is I've recommended, and you don't need to, like, I've recommended some type of visit, sometimes site visits,
Yeah.
if possible. And okay, so let's say you cannot do a site visit, maybe at least try to either communicate with you or the planner or somebody else who did visit it and say, hey, can you FaceTime me while you're there? Or can you send me lots of
Absolutely.
pictures and videos as much as possible? Give me more context.
Mhm.
So you're not blindsided.
Yes, definitely. I think that's such a good idea. I recommend it to couples all the time, especially the photographers and videographers.
Mm,
Those are my number one vendors. Sometimes I'll have, if we have bands that are bigger than, 5 pieces,
yeah.
definitely want to have someone come in, usually the band leader or the tech person,
Right. The
just to
AV.
see
Hmm.
how much power they need. Because when I asked the band leader how much power you need, he's like, oh, we just need some regular plugs. No, talk to me in amps.
Yes.
What are you plugging in?
Because, yeah,
Because it makes a difference.
100%.
And I think, you know, you just don't want any surprises on that day. Fortunately, we have a little bit more leniency than some of the other places that I've worked in the past where, you get that hard 2-hour load-in period or whatever that looks like. Because of some of the things that I've already mentioned, the loading is
Yeah.
is super small. We needed it staggered because, some trucks are staying, not leaving. I have a longer load-in time than I think most anybody that I know,
Okay.
which is very helpful. So if we have those big builds, staging, lighting,
Oh, yeah.
you can come in the day before if I don't have anything else to do. Thank you so much for making my life
Yes.
easy. I
Yes.
don't want to be here at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
either,
Right. 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 Let's help each other out here.
especially because we're not leaving till 1, 2 a.m.
Because the loadout too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, we don't have a service staff. We're beginning to end. I sell, I'm at every event.
Oh, you stay till the bitter end?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're a
wow.
small team. I only have myself and an event coordinator. She's amazing. Great.
Really? Yeah, a lot of times when I talk to the salesperson, they're out. So on this show, I'm talking to a lot of event professionals, as I mentioned, from all different categories. I've spoken to musicians, cigar rollers, planners, florists, stationery. So I'm really trying to make this thing well-rounded. But however, as I mentioned, you are the first step in the process. And I know sometimes vendors, depending where they're at in their journey, are curious, how do venues make the decision to even put somebody on this list or to get on that side of being able to work with you guys more often?
So I think, you know, obviously I've only been in this position for about 2 years. So I inherited a lot of the list. And
Okay.
I think for, the most part, it has to do with relationships.
Okay.
But also, that doesn't really mean as much as what clients are looking for.
That's true.
So sometimes I look at the list. I look at the list a lot because I consider myself a creative, but I'm not that creative beyond wearing every color at every time, like physically doing something. So I didn't never said this, but when I went to school, I was an interior design major.
Hello, you left out a fun fact.
I can't draw.
Okay.
And despite what everyone teaches you that you can learn anything, you cannot. I failed for 2 years and accumulated a massive amount of debt trying to learn this thing. So I can't do those things. But as I'm looking at the list, I'm thinking about, okay, how can we use the space in creative ways? What vendors will bring that here? If I see that, we never had like I guess we'll call it like a social media or content creation. They were never on lists before.
Right.
And I had never used one before, but for some of our events, I do hire, that person to come in and make the venue look nice.
Of course.
That's not what I can do. So, so someone needs to be able to do it. And I like to know the people.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit of both relationships, having worked with people before, but also being really attuned to what clients are looking for these days. What is missing from your list? Who has been here in the last year? What's good about being on a list if you're not working in that venue?
That's true. That happens. Right.
So I think even in the 2 years that I've been here, our list has been updated several times because I'm continuously meeting people.
Right.
I off times, I think, when is that? I'm also president of the Philadelphia chapter of ILEA. So I meet a bunch of people.
You're living out some gems here. You should have led with some of these things. That's a big one too. The president of,
yes.
Oh man, that stands for the International
Live Events Association.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. I never joined. I always thought about joining. I had joined WIPA last year for the first time, which is another organization. But yeah, trying to get out there and meet more people,
it's hard.
Yeah.
Most of the time we're working.
Yeah.
There's so many events, events for event people.
Right.
You're like, okay, can I make this one? You don't know until 2 days before, or, it's hard to manage a calendar.
Yeah.
So all the things, but yeah, I think, the list is it's always changing. I don't think that I don't buy into the pay to play sort of thing with lists. Yeah. I truly believe in relationships, people who are going to follow your rules. If you've worked here or not, did we have a good or bad experience? What do clients want?
Yeah. Yes.
So
yeah.
I try
important.
to keep it as, cut and dry as that. And hopefully it's well-rounded enough that if someone wants to reach out to the folks that are on the list, they're always available. Well, not always. Busy is busy, and that's good.
Yeah.
But like they're available. They can provide what they're looking for. This week alone, someone asked me for a mixologist, and I was like, gotta find that.
Yeah, and they exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that is like, okay, maybe this should be on the list. It was a corporate client,
right?
So maybe that's something they're looking for these days. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, there's so many. I officiate a lot of weddings, and a lot of times I'll just I'll go on company websites, and I've seen a couple, but I don't see them a lot as I thought, because I'm like, okay, if you're getting married at church, obviously you don't need one, but if you're doing an on-site ceremony, which has become pretty popular nowadays too, it's an important piece of the day. Absolutely. And a lot of times I'll go on the site, I'm like, oh, they don't even have somebody on their list, which I find very interesting. Yeah. As an example of, like you said, oh, I need to add a mixologist. Mm-hmm. So I think that's all very important. And I think it's great that you're open-minded enough to say, no pun intended, because this is called the right fit, but not every vendor is going to be the right fit for every client. Mm-hmm. So you also have to gauge and say, is so-and-so going to have the strengths and the talents or whatever it is that they're looking for to accommodate XYZ vision? Exactly. Because it's not the one size fits all model anymore. And I feel like more than ever now, especially in a venue like this, clearly people are looking for different things.
Exactly.
So they're not always walking in looking for the same thing.
No, not at all. Not
Traditional.
at all.
Well, this is not traditional. So we already started
Non-traditional.
with that's out the window. So what else is going to fall in line with that overall vision?
Exactly.
So I think that that's very important. And I'm curious. I know you said you've only been here for 2 years or so in this position.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you've seen much of this end or not. Age ranges are changing for those getting married. It was once upon a time dominantly millennials. There are still some millennials getting married, but is now going over to the Gen Z.
Yeah.
Which from my studies communicate a little differently, think a little differently. The goals are a little different. Have you seen any of that here at the venue yet?
I have. So our couples are definitely getting married sooner, it feels like. So they're skewing a little bit younger. Like I have so many couples that have been together since college and they're just graduating or within 2 years of graduation that they're coming in and they're getting married.
Yeah.
So that is definitely something that I'm seeing, and definitely the communication style, not phone calls. We're texting.
Yeah.
If they're reading and replying to the email, it's definitely on the phone, the shortest answer ever. And you're like, but I asked 6 questions. We
Yeah.
got response to 1. So it's a more dedicated time for communication, I think, which is not a bad thing. It's just a little different than what we have been doing in the past. And, there's so much technology out here that can help you manage that, which is thank God, because I don't have a great memory. If it's not written down, if it's definitely not in my calendar, it's never happening.
Yeah.
um, but, you go with the flow. If you are not a person who wants to learn and keep up with what clients are needing, then I don't think you're going to have longevity.
Yeah.
In this industry. You may, but I just can't see how it would work out great for you.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough to have that longevity, like you mentioned. And I've witnessed it with different areas. And I've had conversations with other people on the show in regards to something like social media.
Mm-hmm.
For example, a lot of times when a couple is looking, yeah, they'll go on your website, maybe, but they're also going to go on your social media and say what lives on here. This is their resume or their portfolio of what to expect or what I'm going to look for this vendor, whether it's a venue, whether it's a photographer, whether it's a DJ, whatever the case may be. And on the flip side of that, I've had situations where I have associates where I'm trying to say, hey, here's an associate of mine who's available for your date. Maybe I'm not personally available. And they're like, what's their social media? And then they don't really have a social media presence. And there goes that.
Right.
I don't know.
It's so funny though, too, because social media is so big and, all the data will tell you where you need to be and those things. And I know it's TikTok. I know nothing about TikTok. I can't believe I admit that, but that is my next goal to tackle.
Hey.
So that I can figure it out.
Awareness. You got to start somewhere, and awareness is a big one. Sometimes it's a necessary evil. I'm guilty of it too. I give more love to Instagram for a while. And now I'm like, I got to give TikTok a little love as well. Because things pop up. That's where people are looking. And I always ask, where did you find me? And then that's becoming more common, TikTok.
I'm surprised when people tell us that they found us on TikTok because we're not on TikTok. Like we don't have a TikTok presence.
Right.
But we're on there.
Because their search engine is like crazy.
Exactly.
Like you'll type in, you don't even type in the name of this place. You'll be like the building that's nice by the city hall. And then One North Broad will come up. It's like the most insane, like it knows what you're thinking. I've never seen a searchability. I've literally typed the most random stuff in there and it takes me to exactly what I'm looking for.
Crazy.
That is TikTok. So at least you're aware. You got somewhere to go, somewhere to start, right? You have a goal that you make.
That's my big, project for winter.
Okay.
January, winter, not winter to December.
Yeah. Do you guys do a lot of corporate stuff here too, or mainly weddings?
We do. It's about 50-50. This year was a big year for Philadelphia with the 250th, FIFA, all that good stuff.
Yes.
So we did do more corporate in the, first 3 quarters of the year than we normally do. And that was great. But we do a lot of weddings.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because that's also a different animal. We don't need to go too deep into that, but there are totally different types of events.
Definitely.
Sometimes it's people that you're dealing with. Could be multiple people. Sometimes it's one person who was tasked a job that they have no idea what they're doing. It's like somebody in accounting that was getting a job too. hey, plan this party. And you're just like, okay. And, or sometimes they do have a dedicated person,
Yeah.
who are like, all right, this is the team that does all our events. So you deal with a mixture of things.
And it's like that with wedding couples as well, because we are a venue that doesn't require like a planner or a coordinator, day
Okay.
of, anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's completely different when a couple has a planner when they don't have a planner.
Absolutely.
So you just have to be cognizant of how to work with both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally different. Look, once again, as from a DJ perspective, sometimes there's this one couple I have coming up soon where I'm emailing them back and forth so much and building a timeline with them that I'm like, this is like a planner's job, pretty much. But I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever, it's okay. I'll help them out. I don't want them to drown either and feel this like overwhelmed stress. And if I have the knowledge, I don't mind sharing it. But essentially, yeah, that's like what people
Exactly.
sometimes hire a planner for some of these
Yep.
things. So I think it's important to, once again, from your position, you're like, okay, you know that you're going to deal with one event differently than another.
Yeah.
And look, from a planner perspective, I'm not a planner, but I've spoken to a few planners in my time. Some of them work with venues that don't like planners, in the sense of they feel like somebody's going to come in and step on their toes or do their thing, versus, like I said earlier, the collaborative model. It's like, why can't we all just work together here, type of thing,
I welcome planners. There is so much to be done on a wedding day.
Man.
If there is a planner or a dedicated person whose main job is to make sure the couple is comfortable and happy and stress free, thank God.
Yeah.
Because I'm running the building.
Yeah. For sure.
And this building is huge. And
I
there
know.
are 25 vendors coming in at one time. And, we could still be open to the public while we're loading in. And are there unwanted guests in the building? Is the gift shop open? Like, there's so many things going on. Is the air working? Is the heat working? All the lights on? There's plenty of things to worry about on a day. If there is a planner, thank God.
All the moving parts. Yeah, for sure. Let's bring on the help. Don't say no. So this is a busy space, like you've mentioned. You got tours going on and everything, literally in the middle of the show. So as we get to the end of this conversation, I like to end with a rapid fire segment where it's just more of like whatever comes first to your mind. I mean, the goal is you don't have to give a long answer. If you want to, you can. But one of the questions that I have is, what do you feel is a detail guests remember the most about an event? And I know you see it all, so I know it's hard, but like that one takeaway.
I think I have two.
Okay, give me two.
If it's not the food,
Okay.
it's definitely the party.
Okay.
So in that respect, DJ, band, most important people in the room.
Yes. I mean, I'm swear I'm not biased. I agree. There's been studies done on this though, but like surveys and stuff.
If it was me, definitely my DJ.
Yeah.
I don't care about anything else. I'm ready to party. But that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, look, I appreciate the crafts and the arts of things, and it sounds like you appreciate it too, right? What you tried to study.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got married 7 years. Yeah, 7 years.
Okay.
If I had over 200 guests in my wedding. If I asked these 200 plus people, do you guys remember my centerpieces? I guarantee you probably almost 100% would not.
Even if you let them take them home, they wouldn't remember.
They still wouldn't remember. But if I asked, when I don't even have to ask them, they just tell me, man, we had such a good time dancing at your wedding. I was dancing with people I didn't even know, or people that I didn't even know that were dancing. Like when you hear stories like that, you're like, okay, this is the takeaway.
Because when you think about it, how often do we dance?
Right. Especially now as you start getting more responsibilities. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's true.
Dancing is the part.
Yeah.
That's the best.
That's awesome. What do you think is something that can instantly kill the vibe at an event?
Still the music.
Okay. We're sticking with the music. Okay.
Yeah. When I've watched it go off the rails, it's because it's similarly to what I said earlier. They have done something that no one asked. If people stop dancing and the floor clears, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
That's not the goal.
Got it. Yes, for sure. For sure. So this is let's call it a hard left question. If you weren't in this profession, what else do you think you'd be doing?
Can a professional champagne taster weird thing. That is what I'd be doing on someone's beach.
I mean, there's
No,
people
sir.
who do professional, pretty, what is it, sommelier or whatever, the people, the wine. I mean, there's got to be somebody for champagne, or maybe it's the same profession. Just a two in one.
No,
What?
I mean, if I had to kind of think about what my family has historically done, it probably would be somewhere in education or like social work or something. Though I'm sure, I don't know, I feel like I'm not as nice as teachers or social workers are, even
Well,
though
you're nice, but maybe you need the extra patience for the kids. That's a different level.
something like that,
Okay.
if I couldn't, just be a beach bum.
I
If
mean, look,
anybody's
it's,
hiring beach bums, let me
yeah.
know.
I mean, there's got to be, look, some of the professions I see nowadays, I'm like, people get paid for this. And so I'm sure there's something out there for that. My last question is, what do you think makes a client the right fit for One North Broad?
That is a good question
Mm,
because I ask myself that all the time.
okay.
Uh, and I haven't been able to pinpoint it yet
Okay.
because first, the aesthetic here. It is definitely out of this world, is something that's not expected. It's very specific though.
Yes.
So I don't know what makes people go for that. The only thing I can think of is like super Philadelphia. If you're looking for something that screams Philadelphia,
Yeah.
yes, this is going to be for you. If you're looking for something that's like historic, royal almost, it can give the vibe of like an estate feel
Yeah.
too, luxury, if you will.
Yeah. Old money.
Yeah. But if I was, walking down the street or if I knew people, I wouldn't necessarily be able to pinpoint something in them that says, hey, you gotta come here. I don't think so.
Right.
'Cause and to that point, when we get couples who love it here, most unexpected people that I've ever met.
Interesting.
Very unassuming. Like sometimes I look at our couples and I'm like, I don't even know how you found us.
Yeah. Wow. I think that's maybe hopefully it keeps it interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that for both, we're talking about, weddings, but it goes that way with the corporate clients too.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I think a lot of corporate clients always or are used to like a hotel,
Right.
ballroom, a convention center, or something like that.
Correct.
But then, they step inside here and they're like, we got to do this
Yeah. Yeah.
with no we got to do this.
Yeah. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool because I think that keeps it interesting. And I don't know about you, but I find it more and more common where people are looking for not your traditional ballroom.
Absolutely.
So I don't know
Absolutely.
if you're hearing that feedback too.
We are. And it feels good because there is a lot of competition in Philadelphia. There's definitely enough work for everyone.
Yeah.
But, this is an old city. So you're going to find a lot of old buildings.
Yeah.
You're going to find that Masons were founding the city. So they have the aesthetic is similar in buildings all around us.
True. Yeah.
So if they're looking for this, they could be looking at that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And none of them are lesser than.
Right.
It just is what's going to speak to that person.
Yeah. What's your cup of tea?
Yep.
Right. Everybody can go get a cheesesteak,
Yes.
but there's also a lot,
Exactly. What kind of cheesesteak do you like?
Right. The bread's a little, they all look similar, but they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah. The cheese, the meat, the bread. Another episode. Another episode. I gotta maybe go get one before I get out of here.
You have to. There's no way you shouldn't.
Jhona, thank you so much for once again welcoming us into this amazing space. Not just the Egyptian room, but like the space in its entirety. It's definitely something that's super unique. And I love the fact that as I mature in this industry, I'm always learning and seeing different things as well. I've been to Philadelphia a million times. Like I mentioned, I was off camera. I was saying I'm probably going to be back next week for my birthday. And I've been to, what is that considered? The courthouse, the municipal?
And right here,
Yeah.
City Hall.
City Hall.
Yeah.
City Hall. So I've been to the City Hall. I've been to the courtyard. I've been all around this building.
Never been inside.
Never been inside. I don't think I've ever noticed it, to be honest. I might have just driven past and not even noticed it. So sometimes you don't even know what's right
What a
next to you.
gym you have.
Yes.
A lot of people say, you know, they didn't even know you could come in.
Yeah. You're right. Right. You couldn't
And
tell.
you can.
Right.
Just open the door.
They're doing tours here. Like,
yes, every day.
I mean, it's insane. Where can people find out more about One North Broad and all that it has to offer?
Yeah, I mean, our website is a great tool, place to start, onenorthbroad.com. And then we have all of our social medias linked from there. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, soon to be TikTok, but don't hold me to me. Maybe edit that part out.
It's a goal. We'll see. Maybe give us a few months, depending on when we release this.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and then a lot word of mouth, vendor referrals are really popular.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all the regular stuff, people are still talking, even though we know communication is headed in a certain way.
Right.
But people still talk. And when they get in spaces together and, have real conversations, you get to learn a lot about people and what they like and where they like to go and what looks pretty and what venues they've been to. All the good stuff.
Right. Like this is now something I got in my pocket. Like somebody looking for something cool and different. I know a place.
Yep.
And I like I said, it's so interesting because like I said, I've been around this area so many times and then never something so amazing was right here. So for you guys watching out there, listening, tuning in, we want to thank you as well for making some time for us here at The Right Fit. We hope that you continue to follow our journey here, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you might be tuning in from. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us. This was a different type of episode. Like I said, we're on location. If you like what you saw today, please let us know. So maybe we can schedule some more of these. And once again, thank you for your hospitality here today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming, guys.
Of course. Of course.
Fun.
Thank you. Take care, guys.